Hi, and welcome to Z Games. Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios in Brisbane and broadcast nationally over the Community Radio Network, Z Games brings you the latest gaming news, reviews and interviews from across Australia and around the world.
Coming at you live from 4ZZZ Studios here in Brisbane. You might be listening to us on 102.1 FM or on Z Digital here in Brisbane or on the Community Radio Network around the country. This is Z Games, the best gaming show on the planet, provided you can hear us. My name's Jack. Everything's fine. I experienced some technical goofs in the studio, but what's heckin' new? I'm in studio with Adrian. Hello.
Hello. What technical goofs? Never heard of those.
It's not real. Don't worry about it. Ray is also here.
Yo.
Hello. And a new one. Hello, Millie.
Hi.
How are you going?
I'm going great, thank you. This is my first time on radio, and I'm pretty excited.
Welcome.
Hi.
Just like you're looking around while the technical goofs are happening, you're like,
Yeah, I was slightly terrified, just in case all of our panic screaming was on air at that current point.
Oh,
Usually
no.
we have the show together.
No. Like, everything can break, but no one will hear our panicked screaming. That's all good.
Oh, okay.
That
That makes me feel much safer.
Like, safer or like worse? Doesn't matter.
But
Although we
worse,
did
worse.
furiously dab to
Oh,
the
yeah.
Supersonic Racing song.
Yeah, we really did.
Jesus.
There's one thing you didn't
It
need
was
to
pretty
know.
great, yeah.
That's a highlight of my year, to be honest.
Dabbing on the haters,
ta-
savage for life.
Haters and racers.
Hashtag Jake Paul.
Supersonic racers.
Relevant.
Jesus. So we've got an entire show coming up where we basically just talk about PAX, but not entirely. Millie, you've been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I have.
You played the reboot Tomb Raider in 13.
Yes.
And you played a little bit of Rise of the Tomb Raider?
I played all of Rise of the Tomb Raider, thank you very much.
I only started at Oop.
Yeah, I know you did.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. All you needed was to start the game and just know how trash Jonah is. Jonah, as a character, can, leave.
What about Lara, though?
Lara.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh, we'll get to
that's,
Lara.
That's coming up a little bit later.
Trust me, we'll
we'll
get
talk
to
a lot
Lara.
about Lara and
We will
Joe.
get to Lara.
And we'll stay on Lara for as
Lara is
long
all
We're
want.
going to stay on
as
Lara
we're allowed
all
to.
Yes.
day.
My God.
My God, those arms. Thank you, Square Enix.
Look forward to that one. But first, Adrian, we went to PAX.
We did.
It was an entire event. This is the first year in a little bit that I was really excited about it because I wasn't exhausted. But this is the first PAX you've been to as media.
Absolutely, and it was a wholesome, bloody good time. I'm a little bit exhausted. I've got some con flu, and my voice has dropped like half an octave, but it's all good.
Everyone loves a bit of con flu.
It doesn't stop.
No, it never stops.
It comes back every year when you're like, I'm better than this. And you're like, no, I'm not.
But hey, you know what? I managed to actually come back from the show with some goods for the listeners. I actually have a little bit of a piece for you all to listen to what it's like to go to PAX and get a bit of a feel for the show.
Bit of sizzle there.
Adrian here, and I'm at PAX Australia 2018. PAX stands for Penny Arcade Expo, and it's a worldwide gaming convention that sprung forth from the popular Penny Arcade webcomics. This year, PAX is featuring EB Expo. The two gargantuan exhibitions were placed at the end of the year and were the biggest gaming conventions in Australia up until this year, when they joined forces, making PAX the biggest gaming festival in Australia. I've also had a chance to speak to some showgoers about what PAX means to them.
The Indie Showcase has blown my mind this year. The quality of games that are even in this space, I can't believe they're actually indie. Incredible titles that have blown my mind. The hilarious Lethal Lawns. It's like a lawn mowing game where it's competitive against your friends on co-op.
So you're fighting other lawnmowers?
Yes, it's exciting. You go slower on the grass, but then as soon as you mow it, it gets faster and you have risk of death. And it's like the last man standing is the winner. And also Neko Barista. It's an incredible Japanese manga narrative game where someone can see you as if you're a ghost and kill you with their coffee.
I mean, that's me every morning with coffee.
It's a beautiful graphic novel, which is like a dialogue game, kind of like Ace Attorney, how it's very dialogue heavy. And it's a beautiful story, and you just have to check it out for yourself.
What is it that you love about PAX?
I've got to say the people here are so friendly and welcoming. Even if you've met them for the first time, everyone's got time for you to have a chat about whatever you feel like. Everyone's here because they love games.
This is my third PAX, so I came first in 2016. Honestly, the atmosphere and everything that there is here is what keeps bringing me back. I've got a lot of friends that I see once a year. We come to PAX, we hang out. But yeah, obviously the indie stuff is a big draw for me because we don't have that at other conventions.
PAX seems to still have a lot of excitement amongst crowds as it's not just vendors like a lot of the big pop culture expos are. There are a lot of games people can play, whether you like video games, board games, card games, miniature games. Means there's I think there's a lot more to do outside of like panels and spending money.
There's a bit of everything for everyone. So if you like tabletop, there's tabletop. If you like video games, there's video games. If you like battle royales, this is the perfect convention. If you want to dance like Fortnite, there's a stage for that.
Is Epic Games actually giving away prizes for people who do the Fortnite floss?
I believe there's little foam pick sacks or the harvesting tool. If you do the floss dance successfully, you will be great.
What is it about conventions like PAX or like, EB Expo in the past that you enjoy the most?
Just the lengths that game companies are willing to go to promote their games and interact with the community. Like, some of the booths here look amazing. Like, we're looking at the Hitman 2 booth right now, and if you shave your head, you get to cut the line. So I thought that was really cool, but I mean, I'm not going to do that. But I mean, if I wanted to go bald one day, I could totally do that.
And they're also giving people like the Hitman barcode as well on the back of the head, right?
I wonder if like you scan that at the self-serve at Coles it works. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you just like headbang the scanner, and it's like, boop, you are a Hitman.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, please wait, assistance required.
No assassins allowed through the checkout, please.
Pretty much, yeah.
Seeing all the new games that are coming out this year, Kingdom Hearts is a particular favourite. Just checked out the Bethesda panel as well, and that was a real good time. So it was Pete Hines, Mr. ZeniMax, the guy whoever's in charge of that, I don't remember his name, and then Tim from ID Software.
Shout out to Mr. ZeniMax, the best unsung hero.
That's his name, Mr. ZeniMax now, that's it.
What was your favourite thing about Kingdom Hearts 3?
Summoning the dope train that just launches fireworks around and just causes massive explosions. That is spectacular, and I loved it.
Can you paint the scene? Why is there a dope train in Kingdom Hearts 3, and why is it shooting fireworks?
I was trying to tackle a rock titan. I don't know, but I needed a train.
And that train was there for you?
It was there for me in my time of need.
Shoo, awesome.
I'm just really keen to see all the new games coming out. Smash Brothers, Spyro. I went down and saw Kingdom Hearts, it's amazing. Fighting the Rock Golem was just fantastic. There's this Toy Story bit as well, and you can actually get into a mechanical suit and drive around and shoot things, which is so fun.
From PAX Australia 2018, you're listening to Zed Games.
Sick one.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That was a good, fun wrap-up of PAX, because I feel like it's difficult to kind of convey the energy of going.
But there is so much energy. And I mean, Friday was relatively quiet by PAX standards, but even then it was busy. Saturday, though, you couldn't walk through without shoulder-barging people.
Yeah.
And that energy is electrifying.
Yes. But also not quite as overwhelming as Tokyo Game Show public days.
Oh, don't even talk to me about the 3 halls of craziness that was Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, it's literally 3 times PAX.
But no, PAX is just full of so much passion and so much community. Like, we were both talking about how the day after, we just had this wholesome hangover where it was like, my God, that was such a good time. So many nice people. So many people who were just willing to talk to you. And, in that feature, you heard mostly showgoers who were there at the event. And that's part 1 of our PAX coverage. We'll have some more features with developers and also...
Developers.
Bring it back. And also a cosplayer from the event. And, PAX, it's the best thing about PAX as far as I'm concerned. It just sort of caters to so many different people across... the passions that are gaming, whether it be, video games or tabletop and pop culture.
Because there's obviously a massive space for that there as well.
Heaps of space.
Yeah.
What was your favourite thing you saw at PAX, though, Jack?
PAX Rising is always phenomenal. It was nice to see the next exhibit, which was a diversity-focused kind of setup of a few indie games from across the world. That was very cool as well. And Diversity Lounge is Diversity Lounge is always like a very, very chill space that I loved as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, like Adrian said, we're going to have more and more and more and more. It doesn't stop. PAX content coming up over the next few weeks. You're hanging out with us on Zed Games.
Welcome back.
Sorry.
It is still Zed Games, if you forgot.
It doesn't stop.
Sorry for coming back.
I'm Jack. I'm in studio with Adrian, Millie, and Ray.
Hi. Millie's a newcomer. Welcome, Millie.
I am.
So,
I'm so new.
As the newcomer.
Yeah.
As the fresh-faced one with the sparkle in the eye because we're all jaded and dead inside.
Oh, I mean.
Speak for yourself. Sorry, never mind.
I mean, I am
just throwing Jack under the bus.
Inside,
you did graduate with a games degree, so.
Oh boy, let's not go there.
Sorry to throw you under the bus. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So, the original Tomb Raider reboot in 2012 or 13 was gorgeous. Mick loved it. So good. The story was well paced. The characters were for the most part kind of okay. The supporting cast was crap.
Yes.
Lara was phenomenal.
They didn't really need to be there, honestly. But Lara, mint.
So good.
Mid-condition.
Rise
Mid-condition,
of the Tomb Raider came out first on Xbox and had that weird limited exclusivity. So I feel like a lot of people kind of missed the boat because it had like a 2-phase, 3-phase release because it was like Xbox One, Steam, and then PS4. And I'm like, why though?
Yeah, it was really, really dumb, honestly. I don't know why they did that, to be fair, but like,
because Xbox likes money.
Xbox. But I kind of enjoyed that one. I'd say it's pretty forgettable though, because it's all just sort of snow.
There was a bit of snow, but there was also like the main town was definitely not snow at all.
No, but like I
There's
found
a lot more
that game
snow.
quite forgettable.
Yeah.
Mainly because Jonah's in it.
Oh, Snow Way.
Again.
Continuing in the
Adrian
line of
leave.
Tomb Raider
Goodbye.
is Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Hi-ya.
If you're not in the snow and you're not in some heckin' island, where are you this time?
You're in the jungle. You're in Peru.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
I hate myself.
I just had a stroke. What on earth?
We're gonna raid some tombs tonight.
Adrian leave.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
They're good.
They're good. Anyway.
How does it change the gameplay much at all? Is the gameplay still fairly similar to the last two?
Well, it's... I'd say it's pretty similar, honestly, because, like, all the original Tomb Raiders, like, old back in Triangle Boobs days,
Yep.
they were all pretty similar, copy-paste, sort of same mechanics and everything, but they've added a couple more tools and the like, and I feel that tombs have suddenly become much more important in this game.
Because they weren't really. That was a big
really
critique of
weren't.
the originals.
It was a huge critique because it was called Tomb Raider. Instead, it's just like softcore Lara getting hurt, which, you know, that's got its place, but...
Internet time is your
definitely
time,
not
not
in
in
Tomb
Tomb
Raider.
Raider. Yeah,
We
fair.
demand tombs.
We demand tombs.
Yes.
We demand tombs. And now
Welcome
there
to
are
radio, Millie.
Welcome to radio.
and now
Woo!
and now there are tombs.
Yeah, there's tombs. It's great. I love it because also it's all about Aztec, Inca, and this new type of tribe called.
You seem uncertain.
Well, I think they've just sort of based it off like Mayan, Inca, Aztec tribe sort of thing. They're like the Patiti. Patiti is the name of the place you go. It's great.
Okay.
Patiti. And also Trinity's back because of course they are.
They don't stop.
Because they don't stop.
So this was the main antagonist group that was introduced in Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're back. And instead, like, they've taken Adrian, stop stroking my microphone.
Ignore me.
Anyway, so they've sort of taken over this, like, hidden place called Patiti. And it's Lara's job to sort of fight it back. And Jonah's there for some reason. We don't know why Jonah's there.
So he was from the little bit I played of Rise of the Tomb Raider, he seemed like a pretty interesting character from the start. Is he still a pretty interesting character, and why is it a bad thing?
No. Jonah is...
Oh, sorry, not interesting, important. He was an important character to the story, but not interesting, was what I was trying to say there.
He's barely important. I think the only reason he's there is so Lara can rescue someone. That is it.
I only played the first game in the reboot. Who what?
Jonah is that big dude in the red singlet in the first game.
Oh, I don't. That goes to show how much I remember.
Yeah.
He was mostly swept under the rug, I feel like, in the first one, but then in
yeah.
the second one, it was like, hey,
Yeah,
it's Jonah!
Yeah,
it's
he's
me!
Jonah. Because, like, in the first game, you were saving Sam, but then, like, they decided to brush her aside because all of a sudden she's got PTSD. Which, you know, I understand that, but Lara could have, like, helped her through it, shown her that the world isn't so bad, and then, like, adventure happens.
Oh, that would have been so
But
hot.
instead, here's Jonah, back again with a new haircut, and that's it.
Character development.
Woo! And I think they were trying to, like, make Jonah, like, a love interest, but ultimately, Lara's, like, a lone wolf. So in this game, like, they mentioned Jonah has a girlfriend, like, right at the end. To be, like, solidify the fact that Lara's like, I'm still single, ladies. Which is great for me, but, like, I don't really understand why they had to add that in. I don't know why they added Jonah in the first place. Because in this game, the whole time, all you do is rescue Jonah from, like, jaguars, then tribes, then more tribes, then Trinity.
Look, let me ask this, though, because one of my grievances with the first game... I can't even speak. The first game in the rebooted series was that, you know, obviously there wasn't much tomb raiding, and as a result of that, there was a lot of murdering. Lara was just killing people left, right, and center.
narrative dissonance.
Don't get me started on that, Jack. Now, let me ask.
Yes.
Does this game, you said it involves some rescuing of Jonah.
Oh, boy.
Is there less killing of just indiscriminate murdering? You know, is
Actually,
there more
yes.
adventuring and raiding?
Yes, there's heaps of adventuring, actually. It's what I really enjoy, is that you're sort of set in the jungle, so it's up to you to sort of, like, survive, but then, like, there's tombs, and you can raid them, but then, like, it's just up to you which path you take.
So is it more survival exploration than sort of just action third-person shooter?
Yeah, it's really good.
Excellent.
And half the time it's like based... there's murder. There's always murder.
Well,
Murder's
such as-
great.
that's so grim.
But
Such is life.
but it's sort of more based around having to avoid that murder.
That's great to hear, because one of my issues with
really
the
good.
first one was how it felt like you had to be attracted to the murder. You
Oh,
had
yeah.
to go and seek it out.
Yeah, but that's the thing that like they in the first game they focused on Lara's first kill and she's crying and everything like that. But then like 5 seconds later she's like, "Well, here's a machine
Yeah,
gun."
right? She becomes Rambo in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, right,
And
sure,
she's
let's
like
do this.
disembodying people
Yeah,
with
just
an
like,
axe.
yeah,
and it's just
the
like,
axe.
whoa, slow
Yeah,
down.
that-
But
that
like,
pickaxe.
But
though.
like also, how hot are you for it?
I mean,
wait,
I mean-
let's clarify here, Jack. Hot for the indiscriminate murder or Lara herself?
Hot for
Both.
Lara doing indiscriminate
Both are
murder.
Wow.
I mean, like in this game, you get to give Laura different outfits, and they're all based around like feathers and inca shit.
I love that so much.
I know.
that's hot.
So like she's
God.
just covered in feathers constantly. I'm like, I love this. And also one of the main gameplay mechanics is covering Lara in mud.
I mean, you got to blend in.
Yeah, you got to blend in.
That's some fanfic crap right
That's
there,
her
mate.
stealth move is to put mud all over herself, and the animation.
I
is
don't
her
kink
just
shame.
Just feeling herself
just-
up
just
with
like-
mud.
Yeah, just mud, and it's great because
great
then
for
you
the
get to
skin.
murder some people covered in mud.
Mud's a great
and now
exfoliant.
blood. The blood of your enemies.
As you look me dead in the eyes, like, and now blood.
Yeah, you're
And I'm
welcome.
like, oh my god.
Also, I'd say the game has really good replay value because you play the ending. I'd say the ending was a little bit of a letdown, but you know, when is it a ending in a game
When's it
ever
perfect?
really good?
Yeah.
Anyway, but you get to replay the game because like if you talk to people in the villages, they point out like hidden things. You can just go find things constantly, like dig up gold under the water. You can swim in this. It's great.
You could swim in theory in the first
There's
one.
so many photos I've taken underwater. It's great.
Sounds like it's really got more of a focus on adventuring and
Oh
finding
god,
things. And that's
yeah.
awesome to hear.
It's amazing. Like just the whole adventure scape of it is so good, and so many like butthurt people are like, "Boo, doesn't have enough killing." I'm like, yeah, but like you'd be unhappy if there was more killing.
Well, I mean, for what it's
So get
worth,
over it.
I feel like the first Tomb Raider reboot had at least solid variety in how you could kill. Just across the 4 weapons, it was bow, pistol, machine gun, shotgun.
Yeah.
You pick 2 out of 4 of those, and you just kind of pick up little bits and pieces. You end up upgrading from there,
Yeah.
and it's like you can replay through the game. If I ran through first time with bow and shotgun,
Yeah.
completely different with pistol and
It's completely
machine
different.
gun. I feel like, do you still have that kind of freedom to go back through and play it a little bit differently?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah?
Because once you finish the game, you get new game plus, and you've got everything back with you. So all those upgraded weapons, you can just play through it again.
Right, of course.
But like obviously bow, machine gun, shotgun, all that stuff is back. But this time you got a knife.
Oh, that's hot.
That's not a knife.
Yeah,
That's a knife.
exactly. Except you know it's in a British accent, which I can't do.
That's not a knife.
That's
Well,
not a knife.
There you go.
God, I love-
You're welcome.
God, I love...
Bruv.
I'm a man of many different.
That's not a
sounds.
British accent.
Wow.
I love British accents so much.
everyone.
Like, sure, she has a variety of weapons, though, but does she have a variety of way of finding things? Does she get, like, a metal detector at some point? Like, she's Lara Croft. She
What is
uncovers
that?
treasures in
Yeah, she's got that
tombs.
strapped to her back all the time when she's
Come
climbing
on.
walls.
Metal
A giant
detector just
metal
like...
Where's the compass? Where's the metal detector? Beep, 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 beep.
I think it's just she's got that little speaker box thing again, which is great.
Oh, boombox.
No, I wish.
Listen to some beats in the tomb. That'll raise the dead.
Boom, boom, boom.
This is Thriller. It is Halloween. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Just imagine Lara Croft dressed as Michael Jackson.
Oh.
No.
Yes. Anyway,
What
So-
about Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson as Lara
As
Croft.
Lara Croft, that
There's an image for you.
is equally terrifying.
I don't like this.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it
when you mess my voice.
It's
about.
not good, is what we're
It's not
saying.
good. No, but listen. If you just want a good little romp of an adventure game by looking at an attractive woman's bottom the whole time, buy the game.
And I feel like you definitely had a lot of fun.
Oh, I did. Believe me, I did. I had a great time.
Excellent.
She's beautiful.
She definitely was in
Like,
the
they
first
put-
2, and I feel like...
Way too much effort into her model this time. Like there's this beautiful butt. Like it's just there.
They know what the people came for.
It's a good cuppable bottom. I'd say that.
Good cuppable...
Cuppable.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider,
God.
cuppable edition.
Put that on the box.
Yeah. Why not?
Good cuppable bottom, 4 stars,
Yeah.
Z Games.
Also, Adventurescape was the other sort of bazinga word that you said there, which I'm a big fan
Adventurescape.
of. Adventurescape Cuppable Edition.
So I feel like the story... God, I hate you so much.
You're welcome.
The story doesn't seem like the big focus. It's still very much
it's
like
not.
a gameplay first kind of thing. Puzzle solving in the tombs is a bit more of a focus, and the combat is
Hugely.
still good.
Hugely.
I feel like this is probably going to be a playthrough once and then playthrough again with New Game Plus to get all the little bits and pieces,
Yeah, definitely.
and it is good.
It's just good.
It's not revolutionary?
No, it's definitely not revolutionary. You don't come for the story, 'cause it's just like, bad dude takes over lonely tribe, gotta go save them, do thing.
You come to raid the
bang,
tombs.
bang, bang, you're Lara Croft. Awesome, good time had. Like, you know, the story isn't great, but like the game is beautiful. And it's like, it's just worth it for a good little romp or adventure.
Beautiful.
Maybe I'll check it out.
I saw it today in the shops and I was like, maybe I should pick it up. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is available now on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
It's pretty fun.
It's cuppable.
It's cuppable.
That bottom's cuppable.
That bottom is cuppable. Also that hair, though.
We've bottomed out.
Oh, that hair has been hot since, like, the first one.
Tress FX.
And her biceps. Like, let me tell you something. Thank you, Square Enix.
Does she lift?
So much. Oh, she lifts. She lifts herself.
Oh, yeah.
And,
You wish she lifted you.
she could just lift me over the horizon.
We're going to think about that for a little bit
Dunk
longer.
me in the river.
You're hanging out with us on Z Games, whether you like it or not. But, I mean, you probably do.
Everyone loves
Gonna be honest, you're having a heckin' good time with us. My name's Jack. I'm in studio with Adrian,
Please
Millie,
like us.
and Ray. Please like us. Please like me.
Please like
Please.
me.
It's fine.
TM.
Like we were saying earlier in the show, we were at PAX this past weekend.
I wasn't.
Well, yeah, you weren't. Whatever.
You missed out.
Come next year.
I will. I'm happy to.
It'll be good.
Wow.
It's only a year away.
You'll be happy to.
I'll be happy to. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Before you let Millie say too much more on this show,
Please don't.
I had an opportunity to sit down with ID at Xbox boy, Chris Charlo. This is the one behind the program that lets indies self-publish on Xbox. Previously, they didn't really have that option outside of Xbox Live Arcade, which had a bunch of other things that kind of weren't super easy for developers to get on board with. But now, ID at Xbox is here, and it's real. And I spoke with him at PAX. And now you can listen to it. Chris Charlo, thank you so much for your time out of the busy schedule, I imagine, at PAX Australia. I guess let's start at the beginning of ID at Xbox. This was a program that was developed, I think, alongside, or a lot of people were kind of made aware of it around the launch of it, or in the lead up to Xbox One launch.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously that came off the back of Xbox Live Arcade. What were some of the things that kind of led from Xbox Live Arcade to ID at Xbox?
Yeah, so Microsoft really pioneered independent development on console with Xbox Live Arcade, which was originally started, honestly, to help people ship little arcade games. And I was a developer at the time, didn't work for Microsoft, and that's exactly what we shipped, like Joust, Robotron, Defender, like these cool arcade emulations. But the second developers had access to this way to ship games that, you know, didn't require discs, didn't require a $60 price point or a high price point, they just took advantage of it. And all of a sudden, there were all these really cool games, and then that kind of like really burst into the forefront. I would say in 2008 was that first summer of arcade where Braid and Castle Crashers shipped, and all of a sudden, mainstream audiences knew about indie games, and the indie scene blew up, and it hasn't stopped growing since. And as we were kind of getting towards the launch of Xbox One, or before the launch of Xbox One, we knew that the indie scene was outpacing what we were able to do for them on 360. On Xbox 360, every game needed a publisher. It was kind of like it was a system that had been designed in the early 2000s, and it was just not like, current with what developers wanted. So we went out and did a big listening tour, talked to more than 50 developers, and what we ended up with was the ID at Xbox program. Right. And, from our perspectives, from Microsoft's perspective, we knew we needed great independent games to succeed with Xbox One. We knew we needed to offer our players like really broad variety of games, and that meant having great indies. When we talked to independent developers about different things we could do, they were really clear. They were like, look, this scene has grown. We know what we want to do. Like, give us platform access and get out of the way. And, we sat back and we're like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. Like, that's exactly right, And so we kind of set this North Star that, like, the thing we wanted to do was make it easy for developers to ship on Xbox One. And we knew if we did that, they'd have a great development experience. They'd bring their games, and we'd see the flowers of that work, in the store. Right. And that's exactly what's happened. We're now getting close to the 1,000th game shipping on Xbox One. Some just tremendous, amazing games are shipped. Games we never envisioned back in 2013 or 2014. And but our North Star hasn't changed at all. Like, we make it easy for developers to ship. We provide this great marketplace. We have an amazing fan base that loves games from independent developers, and spends money and buys those games in the store, and it's turned into this really sustainable ecosystem.
Tanya Chi was talking about gaming for everyone at a panel here at PAX Australia, and how since I think the launch of Xbox One, the platform, I think, to a lot of consumers has seemed to kind of open up and develop in a really, really interesting way. I mean, like you said, in ways that you wouldn't have imagined from when Xbox One launched back in 2013. I guess, from your perspective, how has ID at Xbox evolved in that time?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Like, I think that what we've learned is the more open we are, the better. And, whether that's something like enabling independent developers to self-publish on the platform, or something like enabling cross-play with Switch and PC, or enabling cross-progression so you can have your stuff in Fortnite and take it with you to, wherever you want to play. Like, every time we do something like that, it pays off for us, it pays off for our players, and it pays off for our developers. And so I think when you look at Microsoft now and you look at Xbox now, it's a really different company than it used to be. And I think, like, everyone responds well to that. Developers certainly respond well to it, players respond well to it, and it's been great for everyone.
In hearing about ID at Xbox, I mean, when Xbox One was launching, like you said, the previous options were going with a Microsoft Studios, going with a third-party publisher, or going with ID at Xbox. But I imagine that would have been a pretty involved task of Microsoft to invest in the infrastructure to let indies basically just do it themselves, I guess. What were some of the bigger challenges in, or the more interesting parts of getting Xbox ready for developers to take advantage of?
It was really fun, but interesting might not be a word I'd use to describe it to the outside world. But, it was really fascinating going from this world where we had this, just a few dozen publishers who everything went through them, to a world where now we have more than 3,000 independent developers who have dev kits in hand and access to all our back end. And there's no way we could have done it. We knew what we wanted to do as the ID team. We're passionate supporters of independent developers. There's no way we could have done it without the support of, everyone else at Microsoft. So we would go into a meeting, with a team that, has some element of a back-end system that was really designed for, 100 partners. And we'd say, hey, we need this to scale to, 1,000, and that's what the email invitation would say. And then we would get in there, and, at first we were a little nervous. We didn't know what the reaction was going to be. People were working really hard to get Xbox One ready. It was a crazy time at Microsoft. And we would get in the room and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the indie guys. Like, what can we do? Like, how do we do this? Let's figure this out." And we had that experience over and over and over again. Myself and Angela Hession, who's a co-founder of the program, every time we walked into a meeting room, people just wanted to help. And so we would, look at the way things were, look at the way we wanted things to be, and, and just basically we would say to developers, like, it's going to be easy, and, it's going to be like this. And then if we had to do a bunch of scrambling and work on the back end to, make it like that, that was fine. And then what we did really for the first year or two of the program was replace all our scrambling with automatic systems so that it really worked the way it was supposed to. And now when we talk to developers, I think they're by and large, they're pretty happy with how the program works and the back end and moving through the process. There's always work we can, keep doing and constantly making improvements. But now we get to spend a lot of our time focusing on kind of the end of the journey, not the beginning, not just getting your game onto Xbox, but how do we get people to know about these games? How do we get these games to sell? How do we help developers know everything that's going on in the marketplace so they can make smart decisions?
Well, that's a really interesting point to make, because I feel like in games media we've heard a lot about the importance of curation, where we hear about marketplaces that might have a situation on their hands where it's difficult to shine a spotlight on games that really deserve it just because of the sheer number of games that have been released on that platform. How have you guys kind of worked to resolve that potential issue on Xbox?
Yeah, discoverability is a huge challenge in the digital age, and it's something, if you go talk to independent developers, it's probably the number one issue on their mind. So we've done a few different things. So one is, I think the Xbox Store actually does a really good job surfacing content that's meaningful to you every time you go. And your store experience and my store experience are going to be very slightly different based on, kind of what you've played, what I've played, what you owned. Doesn't want to show you a game you already own. And so I think the first part is just making sure the store works and the store feels good, and I think we do a pretty good job there. The second piece is working with developers and letting them know, like, hey, when's the best time of year to release? Like, what are the things you should be doing? What are the best practices today to really like stand out and help your games?
So that'd be you reaching out to developers, letting them know, hey, this would probably benefit you.
Yeah, and just doing as much education as we can. We have the benefit as a platform holder of seeing, thousands of games released, not just the ID at Xbox games, but every game on the platform release, and knowing what the trends are, and what the trends were doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in the future, but for an independent developer who might be heads down for 2 or 3 years, like the only thing we know for sure is that what worked 2 or 3 years ago probably doesn't work today. Yeah. So being able to share, what worked 6 months ago, what worked 3 months ago, what the best practices are today is really important. And in a way, we kind of use our resources as Microsoft to be the research staff for independent developers who probably don't have the budget to have, a 2 or 3 person, team just focused on what's going on in the marketplace.
So we're here at PAX Australia. There's obviously plenty of focus on some of the bigger titles that have come out on Xbox. Would you mind speaking a little bit to what people have seen on the floor that might have been involved with ID at Xbox specifically, and what the response has been?
Yeah, so we're showing a bunch of games in the Xbox booth that are from ID at Xbox developers. Ashen is going to be shipping later this year, which we're super stoked about, from Aurora 44 over in New Zealand. We're showing Supermarket Shriek, which is a 2-player co-op supermarket cart steering game where you you're in a shopping cart with a goat and you need to like drive it around. Some other games, and we're showing Tunic, which is a super cool game. Yes. And then there's some other games from ID developers that are just on the floor over in the indie area. There's Totem Teller, which is a really, really neat game that we showcased around the E3 time frame, and a couple other games over there that'll be coming on to Xbox. So there's a lot of amazing content here at PAX Australia.
You mentioned Tunic there. I recall it might have been at this E3 or last E3. Tunic was actually part of the E3 press conference within Microsoft. What kind of work goes into the relationship and making sure they're aware of what they're getting themselves into, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. So we, like one of the really cool things, and I think if you ever had a question about how important independent games are to Xbox, just look at our E3 press conference. To us, that's the most important 90 minutes of the year in terms of sort of setting our agenda for the next year, and it's our biggest stage. And independent games have been a huge part of that ever since we launched Xbox One. I remember a couple of years ago we used to put all the games from ID at Xbox developers together to kind of contextualize them, which I think was cool. But the last couple of years, we haven't done that at all. Like, the games have just stood on their own throughout the press conference. So you mentioned Tunic. Like, last year, we showed a trailer of Tunic. We didn't put the Tunic, trailer next to the other games that were from ID developers. Tunic just stood on its own because it's a super cool game. Yeah. And so, to me, that's really cool. It was great when we contextualized them. That was great to help sort of educate people. And now we don't need to anymore. Yeah. Like, we just put cool games out there. One of the things that I think is really important to us in terms of how we run the program is that kind of E3 opportunity, or we have other opportunities around PAXs and GDC, is open to every developer in the program. So there's certain games that we see early on, like a Tunic or like a Cuphead, that we're like, okay, this is awesome. We have to tell the world about this game. And so, of course, they get an opportunity to be at, those kinds of shows, because we just want to show them to the broadest audience possible. But the other thing we do is before every show, we send an email to all 3,000 developers in the program, and we say, hey, E3 is coming up in however many months. If you're interested in participating, send us a video. And, we get a big group, this whole extended ID team, into a room, like 20 people in a room, watching, videos for 3-4 days of, all the people who, sort of submitting for E3. Yeah. And every year, like, what everybody wants is to see a video and just be like, oh, that's the one. And every year it happens. Right. There's a game that, we had seen earlier and it seemed cool, but it wasn't exactly on our radar. And then we see this video and we're like, okay, this is something special. Let's get a build. And the next thing you know, they're on stage at E3. And, unfortunately, we can't include everyone who wants to be on stage with us at E3 in the E3 briefing. It's only so long. But we do make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to, have a chance to get in there.
So I guess looking forward to the future, where do you see the ID at Xbox program going, and where do you see
independent development, I guess, going on the Xbox platform as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. Like when I look at where the ID at Xbox program is going, I want to say hopefully it's not going anywhere. Like, our goal, which is to make it easy to ship on Xbox, is really not going to change. It hasn't changed, and I don't see it changing in the future. What is changing is the platform itself. There's always new platform initiatives, things like Xbox Game Preview, which is our early access program, or Xbox Game Pass, which is our membership program where folks can pay like a monthly fee and get access to 100 games to download at no extra cost. And so making sure that those opportunities are there for independent developers is something that we see as like a crucially important role. If there's changes in hardware, like the Xbox Adaptive Controller or other changes in hardware, new hardware, we want to make sure our developers know about it as soon as they can so they can take advantage of it. And so we'll continue to be that kind of like ambassador for developers inside Microsoft, and ambassador to developers from Xbox to just make sure that we get great games on the platform and that people have great games to play.
Look forward to what comes out of ID at Xbox. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Developers. It just keeps getting better. God, I love developers. That video of what was his name?
Steve Ballmer.
The
old CEO of Microsoft and the most sweaty CEO, as we can attest to that on-stage performance.
That's true. He was soaked.
That's awful.
But it's for the developers.
No sweaty men.
Developers. That was Chris Charla from ID at Xbox chatting about ID at Xbox.
Thanks, Chris.
At PAX. And my brain shut down, and so we're going to leave you alone now. Thanks for hanging out. It's been an entire show.
Come along, guys.
Thanks for being here, Millie.
That's okay.
I hope we didn't terrify you too much.
I mean, just a little. But
just
that's always fun,
Whatever you're into, man.
A little bit of fear, Makes things more exciting.
Thanks for watching us keep the show somewhat together, Ray.
That's all right.
We appreciate you.
Adrian and I need a babysitter sometimes.
Ray is our steward.
I mean,
at this point.
I
think Ray's uttered a whole 5 words on this week's show, which has been great because he's let us just kind of ruin everything.
That's fair too.
I'm just pretending I'm not on this episode. So,
thanks for that.
Metal Gear Ray Stealth
But he would never ever let us just be on the show if we were to be reviewed internally.
Never.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.